Good morning, Julie Strong. Welcome to the Bookaholic Podcast.
Thank you, Deirdre. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm glad you're here. I always love talking to debut authors because I always want to see what drew you to writing and made you want to put a book out there, to put your thoughts out there. Before we dive into your debut novel, The Tudor Prophecy, so which is a great title, by the way. Let's go ahead and dive into why did you want to become a writer?
I think it's because I'm afraid of dying. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the general consensus amongst us all. But it's to take it because of that.
And I had this story inside of me and I had to get it out.
Yes. You know what? When you put it that way, I think all of us have something inside of us to say, I've got to do this before I die. And so therefore you have bucket lists.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're so glad. We're so glad you made it and got the story out. Because because you have had a great career. And so you just had to your thing is you just had to get the story out. Yes. Okay. So what drew you to want to write? I have different people that I talk to, and some people like to create worlds and it's in the fantasy realm and all of these things. And I'm a person, I am drawn to historical fiction, like what you have written. But what drew you to write a historical fictional novel and one filled with plot twists? So it's a thriller of sorts, is it not?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of violence and just the right amount of sex to make people sit up and take interest.
Well, tell us a little bit about why you were drawn to write about this specific period, because this is the Reformation period. Henry VIII and Henry VIII, for as we know historically, was not a good guy, but he always makes for fascinating books and movies.
Yep. You have six wives and you go down in history as if you do. So if you chop off a couple of heads along the way. Oh, yeah, he was a terrible man, but he did seem to get England cohesive in some way. And the plot for my story is how his daughter Elizabeth, when she becomes queen, she can put to rights a lot of the terrible things that Henry did. That
Yeah.
Elizabeth as queen gives us freedom of conscience and is able to undo some of the tyranny, the tyrannical laws that her father put in place. So,
Uh-huh.
and I think that the turbulence of that time where people didn't know what to think. Deirdre, one day you were a Roman Catholic and you were worshipping Mary and the saints, and you knew exactly what you said at Mass, and you knew that Masses would be said for you after you died, and you had security.
Right.
Henry, he abolished all that. And so one day you were a heretic if you didn't follow Rome, and the next day you woke up and you were a heretic if you didn't follow Henry. And people were so bereft of everything that they held dear to them.
Yeah.
In that time, we were close to the ground. We touched things. I would have to be with you in New York City communicate. It would you could only travel 30 miles a day. It would take me weeks to get to you. And I think that technology is great, And at the same time, I think we have lost touch with some basic connection with the earth that they had in that time.
Not to get off track, I agree with you with that because I've been thinking about a lot of things and about how distracted we all are because of phones and social media and we scroll. But yet, people in ancient times were able to build the pyramids and they were able to even concept the pyramids. And I've been blessed to go to the Louvre twice and you go in there and you see the ancient Romans and Greek statues, which are just incredible with marble, and they make garments look like they're flowing. It's incredible. And I'm like, could this society put together something like that anymore? I don't think so because we don't have the presence of mind. But anyway, that's another subject.
I do agree. And in the Tudor prophecy, I bring in the Greek myth a lot because you may know, I certainly know from experience that if you've had adverse early childhood events, you have to have some place to go with your mind. And
I,
myth is a good place to go because there's beauty there and there's violence there. And you
yes.
have one without the other. Well, my heroine, Hester, she immerses herself in Greek myth. And
Oh,
the young Elizabeth, as a child, her mother is beheaded, Anne Boleyn is beheaded for adultery and witchcraft.
right.
So young Elizabeth immerses herself in myth. It's a way to be mothered in some way. You go to
Right.
quarries for protection, for safety, for escape. And yes, I think that the Greek, with their beautiful statues, and you say the Louvre is full of them, they're still with us, and we can
Right.
see there when we need them.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
prophecy brings that in, as well as the ancient goddess that, of course, the ancient world revered for many thousands of years before patriarchy took over.
Let's not talk about patriarchy. No, no, don't, please. I can't do that one right now. But what we will do is I want you to tell us all about the Tudor prophecy and our characters and the storyline.
Okay, Deirdre, what I'd like to do is to be able to give you like the condensed version.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. We don't want to give away anything, but we need to do the general storyline. So what's it all about?
Okay, so the year is 1541, and it's the tumult of Henry VIII's Reformation. And I have two cousins, and they're herbalists. And one is arrested for witchcraft.
Yes, of course.
Yep. I know it's dreadful. And then the other one is molested by Henry VIII,
uh,
what? But she goes on to become betrothed to a bard whose mentor has visions prophesying the ascent of Queen Elizabeth to the throne. So that Deirdre is the Tudor prophecy in a
oh,
nutshell.
yes, yes. But so that puts her, I would think, in danger.
Oh, the every then my heroines barely go 5 pages without a new peril besetting them.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
That's
But it's a happy ending. And Deirdre, I have to emphasize the fact that the Tudor prophecy is a happy book. It's a story of hope and of courage and of overcoming adversity. And the main characters all end up happily at the end. It's a story for
well,
for all time. Yes.
that's good to know. That's good to know. I will tell you again because I am a lover of historical fiction. I just loved the cover and I love the title because just because of the word prophecy, you already know, oh goodness, what is the mysterious prophecy and what will that mean? So it already intrigues you. So you can't judge a book by the cover, but this
Oh,
cover I
oh,
think is
yes, you can.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm thrilled.
The font style matches that era from what we know it does. And it just is very lovely. It's not super busy or anything, but it just seems like it really encapsulates the story.
Thank you. And here I'm very grateful to Anne O'Connell of OC Publishing, not just for publishing the book, but for finding me a wonderful editor, Marianne Ward, who's her associate publisher now, who edited the book and found me the artist, local artist,
Mm. Mm.
Rebecca Wilson, who designed the cover, and then David Edelstein, who put it all together. I'm thrilled, Deirdre, with the
Yeah.
way the book is now out to people.
Yes. And you have it, it's out on all platforms. It's on Amazon, it's in your bookstores, it's everywhere. It's accessible everywhere. Because it came out when? In I
January
mean,
26th
early?
is the launch date for the hard copy, and it's
Okay.
available on websites as an ebook right
Got
now. I think people want to wait to have it in their hand. It's because uh, the 16th century was a very tactile century. Like the wool and the
yes.
clothes, the furs, they're all you touch them. I'd like
Right.
to be able to hold the book and touch it,
Right.
turn the pages.
When I think about that period when we're talking about tactile, I think about tapestries.
Yes.
Tapestries and like you said, furs and feathers and all that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely. And I think this is a perfect winter read. Do you have a lot of winter scenes in there? But anything historical and twisty, plotty should be a great read for January, February, and
Yeah.
early.
Oh, okay. I suppose there's a bit of burning at the stake, which would warm one up on a winter cold night. But
Oh,
uh, but that's a very small part. But the book, I go into a lot of nature and a lot of and the coming of spring and the dawning of hope
ah, yes.
with Elizabeth, because my heroine, Hester, her mother dies when she's young. So when
Okay.
she meets the young Lady Elizabeth, they can form a bond over their common experience of early maternal loss.
Right.
And,
Oh, yes.
and Hester, my heroine, can, in a way, extract a promise from the young Elizabeth that when she does come to be queen, she will rule with mercy. That is central to the book. This idea that there is hope at the end of the winter.
Oh, yes. That's always good to have. Now, let me ask you this. What made you want to, first of all, write a book that takes place in this particular era? And then how did you formulate your characters in and around real life historical figures?
I wanted something, I wanted a turbulent time, a time where your belief could take you to the block. Oh,
Right.
yeah. And so then my characters, I wanted, I wanted one to be a little bit like myself and suffered certain adverse events. And then I wanted my other character to be a maternal figure. A lot of healing has to happen, both for my main protagonist and also for Elizabeth. That will be in the next book. Uh,
Oh,
because Elizabeth had a terrible childhood with her
yeah.
mother dying, and Elizabeth worshipped her father, who basically was a monster.
Right. Correct. Correct. Wow.
So I need my heroine to be able to address those problems for Elizabeth so she can become the ruler England needs.
Ah, wow. This is a great setup for the next book. And there will be a sequel. Is it a sequel, as it were, or will it be a standalone, but yet after this time period?
Oh, there has to be a sequel because the last page demands demands a sequel.
Oh,
And then
wow. This is very exciting, Julie, when you get that sequel written and done and published, come back
oh,
so that we
I
can dis-
would love to.
so we can continue this timeline of the Tudor prophecy.
Yes, The Lady Elizabeth's Secret is the name of the sequel.
Oh, you have a name for it. Oh, I can't wait. Another great intriguing title, Secret Prophecy. You're hitting the nail on the head, Julie.
Yes.
Hey, Julie, thank you so much for joining me today. And I encourage all of my viewers to check out the Tudor Prophecy. I'll have a link to it in the podcast show notes as well as the video description box below. Thank you so much for joining me today, Julie.
Welcome, Deirdre. Thank you very much. Lovely to have this meeting.
Yes.
Right.
Wonderful. Thanks.